Hello, you're very welcome to Gerry's DIY. It's getting cold now, it's November. I want to work out in my shed in the evenings and so on, and I don't want to be in the cold. So this is my remedy for that. This is my waste oil burner. This is last year's one. The design worked great, the design is my own, and it worked really well. But I only used the propane bottle for the centerpiece, this one. And to be honest, I could squash it with my hand, it's just really bad. So you can see the big hole in it. Now, you can see the stuff in it. That's what it's like after maybe 8 hours or thereabouts of running. Okay, waste oil is not the cleanest of materials to be burning. So, I try and burn vegetable oil when I can get it. If I just service the car and so on and I have motor oil, I'll burn that. And it produces no smoke outside. I'm not saying it's healthy, but it's free heat. So look, that's what you end up with. So I'm going to reuse this, the bowl part of this project. I'm just going to take out the centerpiece, which was the propane bottle. I'll cut it out or burn it out with the welder, and I'll put something else in and make it similar but sturdier. I did this one just out of scrap and bits and pieces that was knocking around last year, and to be honest, it was really good. Fantastic burner, no smoke, and absolutely nuclear amount of heat out of it for such a small thing. It looks nothing, but it's kind of the design as to how it works. But anyway, I'm going to refashion that one into another one shortly. But in the meantime, this is one I showed the build on last year as well. And essentially, you can see it. It's just a bowl with a pipe coming up through the middle of it. Okay, you can see my hand here. So the deal with this is the air comes up through the bottom, comes out into this space, and if that's all it did, and you put oil around there, nothing would happen. But what I did was, I made this little fella to go over it. Now, there's measurements and so on my channel from previous videos. But I'm in the shed again, I'm back on YouTube, I'm back in action really. So anyway, this little thing has a couple of slots in it, 3 slots actually, about 2 inches off the bottom. And it just forms a kind of a top hat. The air goes into the bottom, into that hole that you can see, and it comes out these slots. Okay, essentially that's it. So how does that work? Well, easy enough, I'm going to show you now. So I've cleaned out my stove, from last year really. I haven't really been in the shed. Also, we've just gone through summer, so I wouldn't have needed heat. But anyway, cold now, so I've just cleaned it out and I'm going to show you, the setup. But literally all I've done is clean this, took 2 minutes. So the shed is about 20 wide by 30 long by about 40 in high. It's a fine size shed, it's only single wall though. So if it's cold outside, you know all about it in here. But if I can make enough heat to overcome my heat loss, I can be toasty in here for I was going to say little or no money, but it's actually no money. So if you've got some waste oil, you can be as warm as you like. Here we go. So I have a couple of turbo torches, self-igniting gas torches, and as luck would have it, neither of them are working. So we're going to light this with a fire lighter and some kerosene. So I use this is like a big washer. It's a disc separator, okay? And what happens is, this thing sits on it. All the air has to come through the holes. The air gets into this space. Now to make the air do a bit of work for us, it comes out these slots. I sit this over, and that's it. The 3 units just sit one on top of the other. Couldn't be simpler, but it works really well. Show you now. Okay, so let's assemble this. My disc separator goes in first, then this, and the top hat end of it. Here we go. That's the disc separator in. This thing has to go in first. And that's it, I just center it up now. So, hopefully you can see that on the other camera. Now, all that happens now is, look, I'm just going to put some kerosene in it. I'm going to give it some kerosene just to get it started, because if I don't put kerosene in it, waste oil is actually notoriously difficult to light. If I put a lighter on it, nothing happens. But in order to get it going, I just need to give it a bit of a boost. I'm going to throw a fire lighter in here because my turbo torches are broken currently. Fire lighter, some kerosene, get that going, and once the metal gets semi red hot or whatever, we'll introduce some oil. So here we go. Takes a couple of minutes, that's it. Okay, so some fire lighter. Gonna ignite it. Okay, I thought I was out of gas here. Right, so just throw that in. Okay, that's obviously not enough to get things going. Got to put a drop of kerosene in. Now, you can see the flames and the smoke aren't coming out the door. This is just a stove. This could be anything, a barrel. I just made it this way because I wanted to be able to cook on it or heat stuff. Now I'm just waiting on the kerosene to kind of take. Smoke is going straight up the chimney, and in previous videos you can see what I did with this. It's very handy. Okay, so when I close this, when it gets hot enough and I close this, you'll hear a bit of a roar. Okay, it's not savage roars, it's still only getting hot enough. It's quite cold here at the minute. The floor is freezing. So you can hear it taking off now. Hopefully, I'll switch this off. Okay, you can hear it. I'll just show you the setup. So there's more of it after going. Okay, so we give it a little bit more kerosene, just to expedite the situation. Okay. So with the door open, it's not aggressive, you know, it just kind of flickers away and doesn't really take off. When I close the door, all the air for combustion has to come up through the bottom, and that makes the difference. That's what happens. So that's it. I'm sure you can hear the roar of the stove now at the minute. You know, it's really going. When I open the door, it still goes, but there's no roar. You can see into it, there's not an awful lot happening. When I close it then, the suction of the flames, you know, the heat rising up the chimney pulls in more fresh air, which does the combustion mix for us. And you can hear it on the go again. Okay, so that's it. That's my stove lid. Remember, this was the old burner. You know, they don't come out clean. It's not a clean process. And anything with waste oil is messy if you spill it and all of that. You have to be really careful with this stuff. You know, it doesn't want to burn, but when you get things red hot, it absolutely will burn. And it'll burn clean if you design your stove right. You need about 4 meters of flue, 4 yards of flue, if you like, 12, 13 feet, something like that, of flue. And 5-inch or 6-inch. No point in going with 2 or 3-inch pipe because you just won't get the pull on it. This works really well. Now I have other burner designs in mind, and my next burner, which I'm going to do this week, I started it last year and I hurt my eye, you know, messing around with it, and I kind of wasn't well for a bit after that, so I didn't bother. But anyway, what's going to happen now is I'm going to make a unit, looks different to this, that can heat water, a lot of water. So this thing pushes out an awful lot of heat. The heat loss in the shed is tremendous. This thing will glow red hot and overcome that, no problem. And it does it cleanly. You know, the smoke out of the unit, there's no smoke. You know, maybe a tiny bit when you start it, but once it gets red hot, nothing. You know, just heat haze going into the air. So there you go. The stove's going really well. I was going to show you the smoke situation or the lack of it, but when I went outside, I was surprised it was dark. So it's getting dark very early here. You know, 5 o'clock, it's pitch black. The stars in the sky now at the moment. Now this thing has been running only a few minutes. It's probably burning, you know, 2 or 3 litres an hour. My stat tells me, I don't know if you can see the laser. So at that point there, I'm doing this in Fahrenheit just for a minute, but that's up at 970 in Fahrenheit where the laser is. But the burner unit, the reason I put the burner under it is to take some of the sting away from the barrel. You know, the metal in an oil drum is not that strong. It's strong, but it's not as heavy as a propane bottle. So if you can see, I'm not sure if you can, I think you can. We're at 1140 degrees here. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that. It's 1141 or something. You know, that's at that point. Around that area, that's Fahrenheit now, around that area will glow red. So, on the top of the drum, if you can see it, I'm not sure if you can, that's heading up on 1000 degrees, it's 970 degrees or something. The side walls then, 690, and the back pipe then is 500 and something. I designed this so that, you know, I'd have a flat plate that would get really hot, the sides would be cooler, and I'd gain as much heat out of the flames as it travelled through the stove, just because of the surface area and the way I made the flame travel. Flame has to go here, travels up these inside these cheek bits, gets to the flue, and then travels up and out the pipe above. But yeah, like it's getting too hot for me even. So, you know, we're at 1100 degrees there Fahrenheit. So there you have it. I'm here in my shed. I've got a bucket of oil over here. You know, I've got maybe this much oil in the bucket, and that easily lasts me this evening, no problem. I'll be as warm as I want in the shed, no problem whatsoever, which is fantastic. You know, so you know, you do a service on the car, or you know, you empty your deep fat fryer from the house, whatever. This thing doesn't care if it's burning waste vegetable oil, waste car oil, hydraulic oil, whatever you've got. So there you have it. This is as crude as you like. This is just a radiator fan off a car, 12-volt radiator fan. I'm blowing cold air across here. I'm only using a 12-volt battery charger, and it's actually on 6 volts to reduce the voltage, which cuts down on the speed of the fan. That's it, couldn't be simpler. I put this on a screw so I can kind of direct it a little bit. While I'm driving air across the front of the stove, cold air across the stove, and it throws the warm air over to me if I'm out over on the far bench. So there you go, my waste oil heater is burning about 3 litres an hour. I've plenty of heat out here. The shed is 20 by 30 by 14, and I'm making a ton of heat. Now if you needed less heat, you could make a smaller unit, more pipe or whatever. You know, this works great for me, and it costs little or nothing, just a little bit of time to make. I only got 1 season really out of the propane bottle. I can't remember if I had it before that one or if this is one I made last year. So anyway, maybe I got a year out of it. Now it would have been easier to make a better waste oil burner unit than to use a gas propane bottle. But I wanted to make something cheap and cheerful, something, you know, out of what I had here. And I did that, and it worked really well. So it's disintegrated. I can either cut it out and bang in another propane bottle, or I can put something sturdier in and get a lot longer out of it. But these things run really well, and they burn waste oil, which is great because, you know, you can get it for free. So look, if you liked the video, please thumbs up, subscribe down here. I have more videos on the way, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Good luck.